The next section to be enjoyed in Isaiah 40 is verses 21 to 26, and it is full of poetic and prophetic power. I think it will encourage us. He says, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? Have you not been told this from the beginning?" It's like he's saying, have you really forgotten this so quickly? And I think he's touching on a real human trait here, and that is spiritual forgetfulness. He's challenging the Israelites, saying, look, you've been told this, you know this stuff, but you need to be reminded. In John chapter 14, Jesus has exactly the same conversation with the disciples when he says that the ministry of the Holy Spirit will be to teach you and to remind you. Now, why do we need to be reminded of things? Well, simply because we've forgotten them or they've slipped our mind. And so that is a human tendency, which I think picks up on the fact that we can often actually forget the great things about God that we've learned. In fact, it's most likely that we forget them when the world is at its noisiest or when our circumstances are at their hardest, and we forget the most profound things about God that would assist us in those days. Isaiah continues and says, do you not remember that this God, the God stretched out the heavens like a canopy, like a tent, like a curtain? It's like he threw them out there. And the language that is being used here in Isaiah 40 is the language of creation, because the motif of the temple and the tabernacle is strong in Genesis chapters 1 and 2. And I think Isaiah is building on that, because in the Genesis narrative, God seems to be building for himself this beautiful cosmic temple, this cosmic cathedral in which human beings and he shall inhabit this wonderful temple. And the language is of building. And here again it is God constructing. Do you not remember that God formed the cosmos like a temple, like a great cathedral? So this wonderful language of God as creator, standing over and above everything. And then he touches on something really important for the Israelites at this point, and that is, who's in charge here? Who's calling the shots? And if you were to ask the Israelites at this point, who were probably in exile, well, the kings and the princes and the governors of the regions, they are the ones calling the shots. And then Isaiah reminds them again, look, these ones are the ones that were just recently planted. They're like tiny green shoots. And no sooner does their shoot take root than the Lord blows on it and it turns to dust and they return to emptiness, we're told. So they're being reminded here that God is sovereign, that God is timeless, that he extends over history and over creation. And the whim of local leaders is not to be feared the way that perhaps they were fearing. And then this section of encouragement is again capped off by a challenge. Turn your eyes to the heavens, look to the hosts, look to the stars in the sky and beyond. Who put all these in place? Who calls them by name? Who brings them out in season? Is it not the Lord? So again, reaching to the farthest place that we can imagine, the farthest place that we can see and comprehend, saying all of this is God's and he's put it all there for his own glory and also to persuade us that he is trustworthy, that he is good, to remind us of his sovereignty. So all these lessons that Israel had to learn within their own forgetfulness, within their own anxieties and insecurity about local power brokers who were changing and reshaping the world before their eyes, they were being reminded God is sovereign. He is the one who can be trusted to establish his ways and establish his kingdom in and through his people, one generation after the next, all the way through history. That our weary souls and sometimes tired faith will be rejuvenated and will be held steadfast even in difficult days. So allow these words to encourage you. Till next time, peace.